What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean P. the Bluff guy. Hey, how y'all doing today, man? I'm doing all right. But yeah, man. Today we will be reacting to. Well, first off, we back, of course. We back with the reaction streams. We back, of course. Don't make me forget that, y'all. Don't make me forget that. But today we will be reacting to YouTuber Sawyer7mage. One of the earliest YouTubers that I've actually really started following, right, in the whole One Piece community. One of the guys who really got me into the community part of the community aspect of the series. And I want to get his thoughts on the chapter, right? The chapter we recently got. I was like, you know what? Mondays I tend to like to do streams relating to the previous chapter that we pretty much reacted to, right? So today we will be reacting to Sawyer7mage. This changes everything. No, seriously, One Piece chapter 1044 review. Luffy's Gear 5th and Awakening. And I'm not sure if it's going to be a positive review or negative. I've seen some negative ones out there. But before I get into that, hey, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button now. Make sure y'all show your boy some love and hit that like button. Also, subscribe if you haven't already and hit that bell for notifications. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you're looking for a One Piece community to be a part of, we have the One Piece Discord and Facebook group. All of these will be linked in the description box below, as well as the video we will be reacting to. But before we get into it, let me see what you guys is talking about in the chat. We got Sharp Key in the building. Shout out to Sharp Key. He got the okay. Yeah, he was here. He was here in the beginning of the stream, right? When we was doing the countdown. Now we got Cube. He said, better hurry up or I'm calling the Fresh Fist of Bel. You mean the Fresh Prince of Bel Air? You talking about Will Smith? Is this it's the whole Chris Rock joke? The whole Will Smith and Chris Rock joke? I guess everybody talking about that today, huh? That's the thing to talk about. Then he said, "Sup, man? Well, what's good, Cube, man? Welcome to the stream, Cube. It's always good to have you, man. It's always good to have Cube. Hey, Cube, man, you be leaving streams early, man. I'll be like, man, sometimes I'll be, I know you wanted to get on the stream, so I'm like, man, I'll be wanting to throw you in at the end of some of these streams, or like, like some of them I'll be like, hey, I might throw Cube in one day. But you be leaving too early, man. You a lightweight, man. You a lightweight. There was Angel's Room laughing at Cube's joke, and they said Bluff ain't gonna get done like Chris. Nah, he ain't doing that to me. Will Smith knew what he was doing, man. He knew who he could mess with and who he can't mess with. And Angel's Room said, what's good, Bluff? What's good with you, Angel's Room? Welcome to the chat, my brother. Q said, all right, I'll subscribe. It's a joke. I'll be falling asleep. What time is it over there right now? You said it's always 11 p.m. or midnight. What time is it right now? Because I know, I want to say last week. I want to say last week over here in the States, we had a daylight savings. I think the time kind of jumped forward, so you said so about 12, so it's about midnight where you at? All right, man, my bad. Anyway, that could change though, right? That could change possibly, because I might be moving, so I might be switching time zones again. But I don't know, because I think the time, because it might go back, so that means I might have to do these streams even later. Possibly earlier, though. You know, I might do them early in the day. I don't know. That'd be you know, that's one of them bridges we'll cross when we get there, right? So anyway, all right. So today I'm like, you know, it's Monday. You know, the pretty much the Monday after the chapter release. So I'm always, you know, the Monday after the chapter release, I'm always thinking to do a reaction video of, you know, somebody talking about the chapter, you know, and especially when we have these big chapters, you know, these big time chapters. I like to get some of the, you know, the bigger YouTubes, some of their thoughts. Somebody like Sawyer7mage, sometimes Joy Boy Theories, you know. This time I was like, you know what, you know, I did kind of look at Joy Boy Theories and I seen this video. I'm like, oh, it's a little long. But Sawyer's video was a little shorter, so I'm like, you know, and I kind of wanted to hear Sawyer's opinion as well, you know. I always like to hear his opinion. There's some other YouTubers that, you know, we might have to do some more streams too. But, you know, sometimes I try to avoid the super long videos. Sometimes, you know, I try a lot of times, like stuff that's around 30 minutes or longer. I try to avoid. 20 minutes is like that sweet spot, you know. 15 minutes is like the perfect spot. But yeah, so Sawyer, you know, this video's not too long, about 23 minutes. And not too bad. So yeah, you know, the title of his video is "This Changes Everything." So I'm assuming, I kind of guess, seeing, you know, reading the last chapter yesterday, I kind of already know what he's talking about. I think it's kind of obvious, right? I think it's kind of obvious. You know, we talking about this power up of Luffy's that we might as well call it a power up, right? It is kind of a power up, and, you know, a lot of people might call it Toon Force, you know, like the whole Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, like stuff they be doing, right? Like stuff outside of reality. So, you know, I know over here we enjoyed the chapter. I did, at least, you know, and I know some of you guys enjoyed it as well. I didn't really hear of any complaints yesterday about the chapter, so I'm assuming you guys enjoyed it. But you know, there's people that probably didn't like where this whole Luffy, Gear 5th, Joy Boy Awakening, Sun God Nika, Devil Fruit reveal. Some people might not have been much fans of it, but that's okay. You know, that's okay. People aren't going to like everything. Everything's not going to always be liked by everybody, right? So, but let's see what Sawyer got to say about it, right? See his take on it. He usually, you know, I tend to see that he tends to provide kind of a more objective, more neutral look on to these chapters, right? Especially at least as far as his reviews, right? His reviews tend to be, you know, just giving you what's going on, and then sometimes he makes his own interpretations of what's going on or what's in the actual chapter, right? So let's check this out. So let's pull up the video, and the link to this video will be in the description box. So y'all make sure y'all go show your boy Sawyer7mage some love. Let's get into this video though.
So, in all my years of reviewing this series, I've never actually seen a scanlator site telling people to stay away from the internet. So you know things are crazy when even the scanlators are telling people to wait. And I mentioned this before, but sometimes for whatever reason there are specific arcs that tend to correlate with specific moments in my life. For example, when we were in Zou, that's when I got to meet Kishimoto for the first time. That happened in New York, and it was a pretty eye-opening experience for me. Then during Hokage Island, I went to Walt Disney World for the first time, which even now I still associate the structure of Toto Land with the way that Walt Disney World is structured, like it's very similar. During Reverie, I got to meet Elizabeth Olsen, which I also thought was a great experience. It was awesome. And then now with Luffy's Awakening, I went to Teotihuacan in Mexico, and I was able to see the Pyramid of the Moon and the Pyramid of the Sun God. So I can't wait to see what the future holds, especially because with this chapter, it definitely feels like we've...
Look at Sawyer, man, coming to being a man of culture, right? This boy is a man of culture right there. He done met Kishimoto, met what's her name that played Wanda. Dang, ain't over in the pyramids of Mexico, looking at the sun god temple and all that stuff. Pyramid, sun god, pyramid, moon god, pyramid. Man, your boy over there being cultured. Look at that.
We've entered the final stage of this story. We're in the end game now. The cover shows some of Big Mom's children about to experiment/torture the Vinsmoke siblings. The guy who looks like a pumpkin.
Bruh, you know something I just noticed in this? Over in this book, right over to the top left. Make sure you guys can see it. It's kind of like the whirlpool of Enies Lobby, Marine Forward, and Impel Down, kind of like it looked like that. So I mean, I'm kind of curious to. Oh, I think I know what it is. I think this little line was in Enies Lobby, was it? I'm not too sure. Was that Monocore part of the Enies Lobby arc? I feel as though it was, or maybe Impel Down. I think it might have been Impel Down. My bad. Might have Impel Down. It's one of those two arcs, Enies Lobby or Impel Down. That line was in, and that's why they got that little triangle where the Gates of Justice is, like that little whirlpool area. And I'm kind of curious. I want to know more about that. Like, I mean, I get it's just a whirlpool, but I find it kind of interesting. You know, maybe its origins and why was it always like that, or how they set that whole situation up. I guess Angel's Room said Toon Force is a comedy thing and is only done in cartoon, while One Piece has deep storyline, and I think that Toon Force would be added to the story because it would make sense to add it. Oh, well, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I was just, I'm saying it in jest, of course, but because it was kind of Toon Forcey, right? Like when you look at the old Looney Tunes situation, right? I'm not mad at it because look, One Piece already kind of established the fact that it's not afraid to go wild, crazy places, right? Like, you could say it, there's been Disney moments, like especially Whole Cake Island was like Disney, where we seeing like candles and stuff with lives and stuff. It's not I don't see it as a bad thing because One Piece has always established that, it goes some crazy places. You said, no, I'm saying it would be a bad thing. They probably didn't show you everything I said. I mean, I get what you're saying. You said Toon Force is a comedy thing and is only done in cartoons, while One Piece has deep storyline, and I didn't think Toon Force would be added to the story because it wouldn't make sense to add it. So you said it don't make sense to have it. Cube said Arlong's fight was very cartoonish, if with some attacks. Again, One Piece has always kind of been wacky, right? Like it's always been wacky. So, but yeah, let's continue.
To experiment/torture the Vinsmoke siblings. The guy who looks like a pumpkin, his name is Kato. The little girl in the middle with the bunny stuffed animal is Anana. And the last time we saw her in Whole Cake, she was pretty much like asking for some knives. So it seems like she finally got what she wanted. Then the octopus mermaid, her name is Prim. And the guy in the middle.
I low-key forgot about her, but now I remember. I do remember the little girl asking for knives. That's wild. But yeah, like, because when I seen that cover page, I actually forgot about these characters. But now I still forgot about him. But I do remember that little girl. Q said, yeah, totally. There always has the wacky aspect. And Angel's Room said, if Luffy do go Toon Force, he shouldn't struggle in any fights after this. Yeah, I could see this being something Luffy don't necessarily use all the time because it can be a little too OP if he uses it constantly, right? But then again, when we look at Blackbeard has 2 devil fruits, right? So he's already OP. So just handling him, and he could possibly get another devil fruit, right? So just imagine if he gets 3 devil fruits. You might need a little Toon Force to beat somebody like that. And we're not even talking about Eam, you know, the potential of how strong Eam could be, you know. Especially if Eam is the end game villain over Blackbeard. If Eam is over Blackbeard as end game villain, Eam might be superpowered. Like he might be stronger than just 2 devil fruits, right? So, you know, you might need a little Toon Force, I guess. He said, but in my opinion, I think people are taking it way too seriously when Gorosei said he could done anything within his imagination. I mean, maybe. I don't know. You know. We just gotta see, right? We just got 1 chapter. We gotta really see how ridiculous like Luffy can get with these feats before we could really make any yeah, because I don't really remember that part. And Cube said that was changed in the official translation. Anyway, let's continue.
With the long hat is Charlotte Brownie, and he's always reminded me of the mayor from Nightmare Before Christmas. So the scene kind of makes it seem as if Yonji and Niji are about to be dissected. That being said, I think that the exoskeleton should be tough enough to protect them, at least to some extent. Either that or somebody shows up and saves them. The chapter starts off with the booming sound of the drums of liberation, and Luffy is confused as to how he still has energy.
Hey, what if the person... I got... This isn't a theory, guys. This isn't a theory, so... Don't sit here and act like I'm just throwing this as something I want to happen, or I'm saying, but what if the person that saves the like Niji and Yonji is Pedro? I'd personally be mad. I'd be mad, but the will of P would indeed live on. The will of P would indeed live on, and people would not like that. I wouldn't like it. Well, let's continue.
Energy left. He doesn't know why he can still stand. What happened to him?
You can't be alive. You'd have to be a god.
We get this rush of Conqueror's hockey from him, and he says that he's having a lot of fun. The difference between happiness and joy is that happiness depends on external factors, right? So if something good happens to you, you feel happy. But joy is internal. Joy depends only on you. You can be in the worst situation you've been in your life and still be able to smile and still be joyful. So it's kind of cool when Joy Boy says, I just lost. Like, I literally just got the crap knocked out of me, but I'm having so much fun. I'm having a blast. And he starts laughing. That's the definition of joy. Somebody knocks the crap out of you and you start laughing. Saul was being frozen to death and he started laughing. Roger was terminally ill when he got to Laugh Tale, and he found out that he wasn't the one to bring up the change that he wanted to bring, that it had to be somebody else, that it wasn't him. And even then, he started laughing as well. And so just recently, I was talking about how Oda was making a point that there is such a thing as inherited will within Devil Fruit powers. And so this chapter pretty much confirms that Luffy is the inheritor of Joy Boy / Nika's will, and it goes back to Whitebeard's speech in Marineford about how this is a thing that has been passed down from generation to generation, and that ultimately somebody will show up to challenge the entire world to a fight. So that's the inherited will of Joy Boy / Nika, and so now we know that Luffy is the inheritor, and Sunisha just straight up calls Luffy Joy Boy, because in the last chapter, Sunisha actually said, Joy Boy has returned. And so this whole thing kind of goes along with what the Gorosei reveal in this chapter, which I thought to be incredibly compelling, because it actually connects Luffy to Zoro a lot more. So if you remember, during Zoro's fight versus King, we got a flashback where we learned that essentially the swords, especially like the top tier, high tier swords, they have a will of their own. The wand chooses the wizard, just like the sword chooses the swordsman. So all of
Man, it's almost like you could say, it's almost like you could say the swords are like devil fruits, right? You know, except devil fruits are fruits, but swords are swords, right? But they're similar because you also think like these swords could kind of grant you abilities. Because I think, like Ashura, for example, I think Ashura is a ability Zoro uses with with like cursed swords, right? With which one was that cursed sword? It was the Katetsu. I think Katetsu helped him. I think he was using the curse with that. Nah, I might be wrong on that. But I do think these swords, like you could use the will of these swords, and it grants you abilities, kind of like Emma, right? Emma kind of boosts your power input, even though it absorbs your haki, but you know it still gives you incredible strength, which is an ability, right? Like when Zoro was able to pretty much slice that cliff with a flick of the wrist. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a increase. That's a power up. You know, so these swords could be like power ups, just like devil fruits to degrees. And they all got wills, right? It's wild how like the theme of will, how strong it is in One Piece. When you talk about inherited wills from you know, Joy Boy and Luffy being the inheritor. You know, so when you kind of look at being the one, was it never really foreshadowed that Luffy was the one in One Piece? Like if you talk about like the one, and when you look at fictional stories and you always say that person who is the one. So does it really, like when you got a story about inherited wills, right? And Luffy pretty much has been, you know, if we go early in the series, people used to kind of speculate that Luffy had the will of Goldie Roger. You know, like maybe he was a reincarnated Goldie Roger, maybe he just carried his will or something, right? And that now we're learning more about Roger and Joy Boy and Nika and all these other people. It's only really fleshing out what we already kind of knew about Luffy, about him being the one, being someone that inherit a great will, a greater will. Angel's Room said, I just feel Luffy would basically be able to change the shape of his body or the length of his body to any extent, which is probably why they think it's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, but that's, you know, that's a lot of people. A lot of people have their own expectations of something, and then, it doesn't go that way. So then it's like, they don't really like it. And that's kind of how a lot of people are. They thought Gear 5 would be something, that they would expect it to be. And since it's not what they expect, people get upset with that. Which is weird. It's like, why would you, like, sometimes I'm fine with being wrong. I like being wrong. Like if I speculate something and I'm wrong about it, but what Oda gives us is way better than anything I could have thought of, bro, that's a testament to Oda's writing. And at the end of the day, I'll be happy, I mean, I could get why some people would be upset with this upgrade though. I could see it to a degree. It is kind of a something completely different than what we ever got, right? Q said, I think it's ridiculous because the attacks are just ridiculous. If it keeps that Toon look. Angel Room said, and Luffy didn't really show any sign of Toon Force. He just think that people expected him to be able to do like the rubber ground and the Gear 3 arm. Luffy didn't really show anything. Man, y'all gotta start using some goddamn punctuations. Man, I'm kind of confused what you saying, Angel's Room. It was a lot to say, man. It was a lot to say. Let's continue.
All of Zoro's swords have chosen him specifically because they have a will of their own. Swords also have a will of their own. And so now, thanks to this chapter, we find out that all Zoan fruits also have a will of their own. And if that's the case, then maybe these Zoan fruits, just like the swords, also have a say in picking who their user is going to be. So for example, right, maybe Yamato's devil fruit specifically picked Yamato because that fruit, according to Kaido, that power is the power of the guardian, the protector of Wano, since Yamato wanted to be Odin. Maybe Chopper's devil fruit picked Chopper specifically to make him even more different from other reindeer, because Chopper was already different anyway. Like, he would get bullied because he had a blue nose. Also, Marco is a doctor, so maybe his fruit chose him as well because of its healing properties. And then maybe the Gomu Gomu no Mi chose Luffy specifically because of his childlike personality and because he valued freedom. And that could also serve to explain why the Gomu Gomu no Mi has always been able to avoid or escape the government's grasp. Because the government is about oppression. It's about ruling people from the shadows and keeping the truth from the people. Whereas the Gomu Gomu no Mi is about freedom. So the government being against freedom actually ends up repelling the fruit away. It's pretty crazy how many things you can do with just...
I was thinking, right? So, because he was talking about zone devil fruits, I guess attracting people, like choosing their user. I wonder if that was the same, the case for Momonosuke. Because he ate a artificial devil fruit, not necessarily a small devil fruit, but it was still artificial, right? It was the one that Vegapunk made, pretty much, and everybody thought was a failure. But Momonosuke ends up eating it, and you could say maybe he was even attracted to it. Maybe he was attracted to towards the fruit, and that's why he ultimately ate it. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was hungry as well, being the situation he was in. But it's like it was probably, though it was artificial, it was pretty much an exact replica of Kaido's devil fruit, you know. So, and it wasn't like these small devil fruits either. It was perfect. It was like a real devil fruit, right? So maybe the fact it was like, maybe Vegapunk successfully was able to create a devil fruit that acted like a devil fruit and just wasn't an artificial devil fruit that gives you special abilities, but it's kind of like half-assed almost, right? So if Vegapunk did indeed create a perfect artificial devil fruit, does it have a will as well? Like, was Vegapunk actually able to create a will into the devil fruit? You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, did that will of that devil fruit, artificial devil fruit, call out towards Momonosuke? And you know, and it would make sense because Momonosuke, he's almost like the counter Kaido, right? He's like the, you know, he's a special person, he's a special being, right? And now you give him an ability such as a devil fruit, a dragon devil fruit at that. Like, young man, he could probably be the new protector of Wano, right? Like, it's wild that the person who ends up eating the devil fruit that Kaido, the replicated devil fruit that Kaido has, is the son of, I guess you could say, Kaido's one of Kaido's rivals, right? It was the son of his who ended up eating the devil fruit, the artificial version that's just like his devil fruit. And Momonosuke could possibly become the new deity of Wano, right? Kind of how Kaido is held as like a deity. Momonosuke could become that. So people already kind of look at Momonosuke they held him in a higher regard, right? As a shogun, as the heir to the shogun throne. So now you throw him being a dragon, and boy might be looked at as a deity. Q said Luffy's Gumu Gumu no Balloon was quite toonish if you think. He had a couple of cartoonish like attacks. Angel Room said, I don't know, man. I can see a lot of Luffy's attacks being comedic but not Toon Force. I mean, that's how the chapter is. I don't know if it's going to be something that Oda's going to keep up with. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it was just something specific to the chapter, just to kind of add to the chapter, or if that's going to be something we're permanently stuck with Luffy. The whole, like all the eyes popping out, and I think some of the stuff, like maybe being able to move ground, because to a degree it makes sense. It's like he's turning the ground rubber, kind of like we've seen done, right? We've seen Katakuri turn the environment to mochi, right? So why couldn't the awakened rubber-like devil fruit almost turn the ground into rubber, and be able to move it and shape it like rubber, even though he did it like ridiculous ease. But I mean, we talking about Sun God Nika here, right? Or Joy Boy. We talking about Joy Boy here. You said I just wanted to see how Oda going to explain the fire hair. I mean, I don't know, but I've seen other theories speculate about the hair being fire. So there's something to it, to where it's sensible to people for Luffy to have fire hair. Because people have been predicting the fire hair even before the whole reveal of the Sun God, right? Like you go check out Ela's theory about the Sun God. I think Nightmare Luffy Sun God, something like that. His theory pretty much, it's a different I guess route of getting there, but a lot of the takes he have kind of touched on, and we seen it, in the chapter we seen it. But let's. And is his hair really fire, or is it like? I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to check the chapter, because I remember his hair being more gooish, but people kind of painted it to look fire. I'm gonna check the chapter, but let's continue.
Just the Gomu Gomu no Mi. Like, the only other fruit that I can think of in this story that rivals the Gomu Gomu no Mi's versatility in terms of like its uses is Law's fruit, the Opi Opi no Mi. So I feel like there's so many things that you can do with both of these fruits that they're kind of broken. I was reading a post on Worst Gen where this user was trying to find, sort of.
Oh yeah, his hair is definitely fiery. Like on the last page, his hair is definitely fiery. But yeah, I don't know how Oda's going to explain it being fiery, but I mean, Hyogoro, his hair is fiery as well. He's not even a sun god or anything, and his hair is fiery.
Tidbits or bits and pieces of information that could serve to foreshadow the value of the Gomu Gomu no Mi. And one of the things they found is that in Romance Dawn, which is sort of like a rough draft, like one of the first rough drafts that Oda wrote before he started writing One Piece, that features Luffy and features Luffy's grandfather, which would later become Garp. In that story, Luffy's grandfather calls the Gomu Gomu no Mi a mystic fruit. And then he also says that the value of the fruit is worth 5 billion berries, which is exactly the amount of money that Law's fruit is worth as well. So again, now it makes sense why those two fruits are so valuable. You got Law's fruit, which is known as the ultimate devil fruit, and then you have Luffy's fruit, which is Joy Boy's devil fruit, like a god fruit. Now, I do think that this chapter could potentially open up a can of worms, specifically when it comes to the future antagonists or the future villains of the story. Because if we look at the natural progression of any story, we find that usually, typically, tension has to rise. The stakes have to be higher as we progress. That's typically how it works. The further you go in, the more dangerous things get. And so now I'm thinking, okay, so if this is how Luffy is now, then okay, what is Akainu going to have to do to match this Nika devil fruit? What is Blackbeard going to have to do to match this Nika devil fruit? What is Emu going to have to do to challenge and match this devil fruit? Because
I kind of disagree. I get it, because he is being hella OP right now. I'm not going to lie, but I think it depends on how well Kaido fares against this new power up, right? Like, I mean, even though Kaido at this point is kind of worn down, so he's kind of primed to be beaten with a new power up, right? But if Kaido could still put up a decent fight, even in defeat, I don't think this upgrade would be that ridiculously and I get it. Kaido was kind of get thrown around this chapter. I get it. But if Kaido could kind of bounce back next chapter and make it still a hard fight, I don't think that it's going to be that. I don't think Oda's going to write himself into a heavy corner if he does. But it more so, it just depends on how this fight with Kaido ends. That's kind of my how it wraps up, how it concludes. How Gear 5's Sun God Nika beats Luffy or beats Kaido. Angel Room said, yeah, but that's just the way his hair was cut. Luffy hair is just in flames. I agree with you. I've said that. And then he says, I feel like Gear 4 or Gear Luffy versus Kaido is going to be the same as Katakuri BS Snake Man. Oh, okay. Let's continue.
Technically speaking, once we get to the final war, Oda could be like, oh, guess what? Akainu's Devil Fruit was never the Magu Magu. He was never a Logia to begin with. He was also a mythical type Zoan. Akainu technically ate the Devil Fruit of an ancient magma god, but we changed its name to protect its identity. Because of this chapter, Oda can pull stuff like that in the future. And who's to say, like, I know there's not technically like a water Logia, but who's to say that Emu doesn't have like a mythical type Zoan that allows her or him to control the ocean, to control the sea? Because now I even feel like Dragon has a higher chance of being a mythical type Zoan as well. Because we know that mythical type Zoans come with an extra effect to their transformation. So for example, Kaido is a dragon and he can control the weather. Orochi is a snake that can't die by being decapitated. Yamato is a wolf with ice powers. Marco is a phoenix with magical flames that can heal. Katarina Devon is a Kyuubi that can transform into other people. And then Luffy is a rubber man that's actually a god. I want to show you this real quick. My sister made me aware of this. So in Punk Hazard, there's a scene where Luffy meets Momonosuke, and Luffy tells him, why don't you transform back into your human form? And then Momonosuke asks how, to which Luffy responds, I don't know. I'm not a Zoan type. We get a brief scene with Sanji waking up in the pleasure hall. And speaking of Sanji, one of the things that was recently released was the cover for volume 102, in which we see that Sanji's new technique is actually blue. And so I want to go back to when he activates it.
Yeah, about that blue leg, man. Is that what we're gonna call him? Blue leg Sanji? I wonder if those are like Marco type flames. You know what I'm saying? If you know, because I did see this cover page. I think one of you guys sent it to me, but try to find it again. Yeah, so because that kind of like Marco's flames, right? You got the blue flame, and then you got like yellow. Yeah, it kind of remind me of Marco flame. So I wonder if it's like if maybe his if it has like healing properties, right? Like, I mean, it wouldn't be that off for Sanji, right? Because Sanji, remember when he dealt with what's the dude's name who was, when they made the wanted poster, it looked like him, right? Like that guy. He pretty much fixed his face. He fixed that man's face or whatever. So, you know, it's not like Sanji don't have any healing feats, I guess. You kind of say that he restructured a man's face. You know, that's like medical stuff right there, restructuring somebody's face. So why couldn't he be able to heal people or have like healing flames like Marco? Why couldn't he? He already had flames, so that makes sense. Sakuna Senpai said he did give that dude a facelift. Exactly, right? He already out here giving people facelifts. You know Sanji, that boy. And shout out to Sakuna Senpai. Welcome to the channel and the stream. Welcome. But yeah, so Sanji does have like medical properties with his leg, if you want to call it that.
Sanji's new technique is actually blue. And so I want to go back to when he activates it for the first time. I want to go back to his dialogue. Because Sanji says that Ifrit Jamba is a combination of the color of armament that he's developed added to his exoskeleton. And so I'm bringing this up because like recently in the anime we saw that Jinbei can use Rio, and Jinbei's Rio aura is actually blue. So now I'm wondering if like Sanji's Ifrit Jamba is actually a combination of the heat from his legs with Rio at the same time. I also think it's kind of cool that Sanji...
Yeah, that could make sense. You know, that could definitely make sense. Maybe the color of Rio is blue, right? Like, cause it's like hockey does have color. Like when we look at Conqueror's hockey, right? Like each time a character loses the Conqueror's hockey, it's always a specific color. Like maybe Sanji's hockey is blue, right? Like I want to say Luffy's is red. I don't remember because I remember him and Katakuri was fighting and one of theirs was red and the other one's was blue. Y'all might have to remind me in the chat, you know. But so maybe it's kind of like that with Rio, where like maybe Rio is specifically blue, or maybe it just depends on the person, you know. Maybe like each character they have like a specific color for their hockey, right? Because I think Luffy's was red. You know, like I think when he was fighting Katakuri, I think it was red. It might have been blue. I'm not too sure. And maybe his Rio hockey. Did we get a color of his Rio hockey? I feel like we have. I think it was red though. Yeah, I think it was red. Matter of fact, I think it was red. So yeah, so maybe Luffy's hockey, like his color is red in general, right? So when he does Conqueror's hockey or Rio, maybe it's always red. Andrew's Room said Luffy's hockey is red, Zoro hockey purple. Q says I don't remember. Maybe Sanji's is blue, you know. So, cause I'm trying to think, have we ever seen any? I don't know. Maybe Sanji's is blue, and maybe his flames was blue for his like Rio hockey mixed with the flames. Angel Room said, but his Conqueror's hockey was gold one time. Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, you probably right, but I don't remember. Like, if you remember, if you find that time, share it with me. Let's continue though.
Sanji's like one of the first people that we see react to Luffy's awakening because we know that Sanji specializes in observation hockey. Like he's pretty sensitive. So I like the fact that it starts off with him. That being said, like I said in the last review, I honestly would have wanted more of a clash between the people in the Life Lore versus Kaido. Like I think it would have been cool to see a little bit more of like Marco and Kid and Law versus Kaido, just to see what they would do. But no, we don't get to see them put any more work. We just get some reaction shots from them. And just like Sanji, I'm assuming that Kid, Law, Hyogoro, and Marco are using observation. Because if you notice, like Nami and Tama have to be told by Marco that Luffy is okay. It's not something that they perceive by themselves. So I'm guessing that Marco is using observation hockey, and that's why he's able to tell the girls that. Because the girls don't have observation hockey. Now before this chapter, we just had two mythical Zoan human fruits. The first that was introduced belonged to Sengoku, which is the golden Buddha model. And then the second one we saw in this arc, which was Onimaru's Oniudo model, or the giant monk model. Now the way that the Gorosei described the sun god Nika model, or like Nika's devil fruit in this case, I think serves to confirm a theory that I had from the very beginning when it was first revealed that the Gomu Gomu no Mi could potentially awaken into something much greater. So this is what I said in my review for chapter 1037. So it makes a lot of sense, right?
2 months ago.
Right? If the Gomu Gomu no Mi awakening is capable of stretching things out, other things, even animals, right? Then maybe that means that the ancient user of the Gomu Gomu no Mi awakened it, and that's why Long Ring Longland and its inhabitants look the way they do, because of Nika or Joy Boy using awakening. Tonjit, which is the old man that lives there, says that the reason that the animals grow so long is because they are able to live freely without feeling any restraint, either mentally or physically. And so that pretty much fits the description that the Gorosei have for the Nika fruit perfectly. The Gorosei says,
Awakening brings his rubbery body greater physical strength and freedom. It is said that in all the world, there is no power more ridiculous. Which, I mean, ridiculous fits Long Ring Long Lad perfectly. This also fits what I said before about how maybe it was Joy Boy who actually stretched out Sunisha's legs. Because we know they were friends in the past. A cool little reference
that could make sense. That could make sense about like what, because Zunisha got some long legs, man. Because even outside of the water, they tower above a lot of stuff, right? Like we seen how long it took them to climb Zunisha from pretty much ocean level all the way to the top, right? Like that was like an all day type of situation, and that's just the part that comes out of the water, right? We're not even talking about like everything from sea level all the way to the bottom of the sea. Like dang, like come on now. How deep do those legs go, and how are those legs so long, right? Like if Zunisha has a race, right? If there's other Zunishas, maybe they're not as tall as this Zunisha, right? Maybe they're like as size wise, like mass wise, maybe they're as big, but maybe their legs aren't as long because like he said, maybe Joy Boy stretched out Zunisha's legs, made them long in order for her to be able to walk in the ocean, Angel's Room said it was when Hyogoro asked Luffy why he went turn Rio in the middle of the night and Luffy knocked everyone out. Okay. It was like the episode. I don't know. I mean, I could see it being like that, but maybe it was more of an exaggeration. I don't know. I would have to see the episode. Because sometimes the animation people, they go super crazy. Like sometimes they go ridiculously crazy with the animation to where it's like you'll have like Luffy powering up like he's a Super Saiyan, and it's like, come on now, that's never been established whatsoever in the series. Like powering up like a Super Saiyan, like charging up and stuff. Like that's not something we see, in One Piece. Like we see him prepare for attacks. That's like when Zoro goes into Ashura, he summons Ashura, but he's not like charging up like a Super Saiyan. One Life Man says, shout out to One Life Man and welcome to the stream. He says, I'm here, but can't chat right now. I'm listening. You good, brother? You can always comment later. You can always comment after the stream or whatever. Q said, One Life is here, yo ho ho ho. Can't do it right now. And then Angel Room said episode 937. Okay, maybe I'll check it out. But let's continue.
that I noticed is that if you go to the newest anime opening, when Luffy falls into the water, before he opens up his eyes, before he awakens, you do get to see the moon in the background. So it's a nice hint to what we see in this chapter. I've talked a lot about how Oda loves doing the sun and moon dynamics and symbolism throughout the series. So just having like that shot of like Sun God Nika jumping underneath the full moon seems to drive that point home even further, because we get the sun and moon within the same panel. Now we don't get to see Luffy use any named attacks in this chapter, but I am kind of curious, like, is he still going to be calling them like Gomu Gomu no blank, or is he going to be adding like Nika Nika to their names? Because what I'm assuming is that all of the
bruh, that's what I've been asking, man. So I need your guys' opinion, man. What are y'all calling it now? Like when you refer to Luffy's devil fruit, like in the conversation, are you guys calling it the Nika Nika no Mi, or the Hito Hito no Mi type Nika, or are we still calling it the Gumu Gumu no Mi? Let me know in the chat, man. Y'all got let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments after the stream. Just let me know what y'all calling it, man. Me personally, I'm gonna probably still continue to call it Gumu Gumu no Mi, because that's what I was brought up with, right? Like, That's the devil fruit I came to love. So that's what I'm calling it, right? Angel's Room said the Gummo Gummo no Mi can't be spoiling people. Yeah, so you calling it that too? I'm calling it the Gummo Gummo. Let's continue.
Past attacks, their names are gonna stay the same. So it's still gonna be like Gomu Gomu no pistol,
Cube with the Gummo Gummo.
no cannon, Gomu Gomu no Gatling, whatever. But then like when he enters Gear 5th, this is where he starts, naming attacks in a new way. One of the things that I really want to see in the anime from this chapter is the way they handle Luffy's laugh. Because he's giggling from start to finish. I mean, he doesn't stop laughing at all. You read these panels throughout the chapter, and his laughter is almost contagious. Like, even by the end, he's laughing like, ahia, hia, 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 which I think it was Redon who said that this is the way that he laughs when he eats a magic mushroom in Amazon Lily.
Hey, so... Okay, so I kind of want to address something, like as far as Luffy's power up or whatever. I think what could settle a lot of people's problem with this whole sun god idea, this Nika idea, what I think would be smart for maybe Oda to, like a route for Oda to take, and maybe Oda has his own way of keeping this in check. I don't know, right? I think it would be dope because we one thing we know about Luffy and his devil fruit, right? It was pointed out by Rob Lucci back in this lobby during that fight that every time, like, or when he was using Gear 2, like once he used Gear 2 against Rob Luffy said, he pretty much kind of explained. He said, "Oh, so you're expanding your I guess his arteries and his blood veins to pump blood through your body, right? Pump like the air is pretty much pushing the blood through your body so you could move faster, right? So, but he said it's also taxing, all right? Like it's also taking a toll on your life. And so I think one thing has always been established was that every time Luffy uses a gear, especially when he doesn't have it mastered, when he uses these gears, they shorten his life. They tax his body. Now, I don't know if Gear 2 still damages his body. I think Gear 4 at this point it damaged because there was still that drawback from it. So maybe Gear 5 has an even bigger drawback to it. So it like the drawback is so big that Luffy only uses it for emergency uses only, right? Like, so maybe it won't be something that Luffy is always pulling out. It's one of those things where he only uses it if he has to, because maybe it shortens his life significantly, which also plays to my theory that by the end of the series, Luffy is gonna he might turn himself in like Roger, right? And a lot of people say, why would he do that? And we don't need to rehash. I get that. But maybe just like Roger was dying and he pretty much turned himself in, at this point, Luffy probably already achieved everything. He probably caused world peace. So, his death probably would be like, it wouldn't be like something people would take pleasure in. The world, at this point, maybe the Marines, whoever's in charge, like Smoker or whatever, they're more so doing it because they have to. They have to uphold justice. It's not like they're wanting to kill the guy. I guess I'm talking about if the Marines are like, let's say, reformed again, right? So maybe Luffy turns himself in, because he's already dying, right? Like maybe he doesn't have much left to live, And so his death will also kind of mirror Gold D. Roger in a way, like them two always kind of been married, right? Like Luffy always been kind of a mirror of Gold D. Roger. But now we're learning more about Luffy and learning that he's more than Gold D. Roger. One Life Man said, I think the side effect of the devil fruits is you can't stop laughing. And I'm glad you said that. That actually made me think of something. I'm gonna touch on that in a second, because that actually gave me an idea or made me think of something. Angel's Room said, I think Luffy's gears are going to be like Chopper's monster points after this arc. What you mean, like he could just transform into him? Yeah, I agree with that, but I still think they kind of test his body, right? I think they, put a maybe Sun God don't though, since it is kind of godly, but I don't know. As far as One Life Man, what you said, I think the side effect of the devil fruit is you can't stop laughing. It's funny that you say that. When we talk about fruits with side effects that cause you to laugh, and then, it makes you think of the smile fruits, how their side effect is pretty much to, it makes you laugh, like the failed smile fruits. Their side effects are you just laugh all the time, right? Now, what if Luffy, in his sun god Nika form, what if he could cure Ukaboro Town? Like those people who can't stop laughing. Like, what if he can somehow cure them? It's weird. What if he cures their laughter with joy? Like, I don't know how that'll work, but I think that'd be pretty. I think maybe there's something to it, right? It's funny that the devil fruit that causes Luffy to continuously laugh is in the same arc where we got these artificial devil fruits that cause people to continuously laugh, and for them to not have any type of connection or any type of, like, I'd be a little surprised. Angel's Room said, yeah, since the Gorosei said Luffy's body would be much stronger than before, and since he's been able to constantly use his fourth gear with no breaks, he'll probably have no drawbacks ever again. I don't know. Will they be like immediately taxing? Probably not, but it could still shorten his lifespan little by little the more he uses them. And I think a drawback like that would kind of help balance the hacks of Sun God Nika Devil Fruit, like Gear 5, especially, it will balance some of the problems that people feared, some of the fears, right, that Luffy would just be too powerful for everybody. Like, if you make it to where he can't just use Gear 5, his Sun God Nika form or whatever, if you make it to where he can't just do that willy-nilly, I think that would kind of make people's fears a little less. But I think an easy way that's already been established to do that would be to have those drawbacks on that devil fruit or on that form. But shortening his lifespan wouldn't really change anything since Luffy wouldn't care. I mean, he doesn't always go to his strongest form. He doesn't always go straight there. Especially if, like, the drawback is like you not it's not just shortening his lifespan that's the drawback. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that that's partially what it's doing, but the drawback is kind of like when we was in Gear 2 where it's so taxing on him, the where he can't fight. Like it's like a short term ability that he can only use it for a short term, right? And after he's done using it, he can't fight at all, you know. So it's like one of those ace in the holes where he it has to be like an emergency where he can use it. All the other gears, sure, he could use those at will, but Gear 5th, there has to be some check to it, right? There has to be some type of a check. Again, I'm not Oda, I don't know what that is, but to be that OP, you need something to kind of keep it in check to where it's not like he's just running through all these bad guys. Kind of like what you were saying, man, like, earlier. But anyway, let's continue.
And speaking of mythical,
but let me just say this: the life shortening span thing is more of just a long term aspect of it. Of course, Luffy will use it when he needs to. Of course he will, regardless of it shortening his life. But but I'm talking about that's how all the gears are. Like even when he uses Gear 2, I believe it shortens his life, but he uses it all the time. I think at this point it's not doing as much damage as it was when he first unlocked that ability or that transformation. But I'm pretty sure it still does something to his body, just maybe very minimal. And then Gear 4 is probably a little worse, and Gear 5 will probably be the worst.
Type Zoan devil fruits that choose their users. We go to Hiyori and Orochi is just straight up acting like a snake. He's trying to slither his way out of paying for the consequences of his behavior by just making up a bunch of lies. And so again, this is kind of why I wanted Usopp to be the one to defeat Orochi, because they're both liars, except Usopp is an example of a liar who's a good person, and Orochi is an example of a horrible person that's a liar. So they're pretty much like different sides of the same coin. Then we get like a brief recap.
We got DCXL Gaming in the chat. Shout out to DCXL Gaming. He said, "What's up? What it do, man? What it do? Welcome to the chat. And we got Threevil. He said, "Hey, what's up, big dog?" Shout out to Threevil. Hey, man. Oh, man. It's always a blessing when I see you in the chat, man. Hey, man, send me something to react to, bro. Send me you want me to react to something? Send it to me, brother. I got you. Hey, and what you guys thought about this recent chapter? I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure you got some videos of it. So yeah. I know some theories were answered, right? Some were confirmed. DCXL said, "My boy evil." And Threevil said, "Haha, you can react to anything, gang. Maybe the video I dropped today is the thumbnail of Blackbeard with Moon God on it." Oh, hey, I was just talking to my boy Elids. Like, matter of fact, we was talking about it after yesterday's stream, after the chapter. One thing I proposed was, what if Blackbeard or maybe Eam or Blackbeard, one of them, maybe since Luffy has the Sun God Devil Fruit, pretty much Sun God Nika Devil Fruit, what if Blackbeard has the Moon God, the counter? So, and you saying that now, it's kind of like maybe you there, maybe you there with me if you talking about Blackbeard with Moon God on it. Man, I might have to check that one out. One Life Man said, "Disagree respectfully. I think Zoro is the Moon God." I don't think so. I think and we talking about devil fruits. I'm talking about devil fruits. Luffy got the Sun God Devil Fruit, so I would think there's a Moon God Devil Fruit. Sorry, man. I have to respectfully counter disagree with you. And 3 will say, I went down a deep ass rabbit hole for the whole moon god thing. Researched so much mythology, my head started spinning. I bet, man. Bro, like doing the research, I know that could be a lot right there, man. So much information to sift through, right? He said, I also, of course, considered Emu, but Blackbeard makes the most sense. It actually do because I kind of think of like maybe the Yami Yami, like me personally, I think the Yami Yami no Mi could potentially be the Gummo, like maybe it could be like the moon god, right? Like I don't know. I'm not saying this is zone though. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I haven't done no research, so I'm not going to sit here and try to speculate. So I'm going to have to check out your video because maybe you put some of these thoughts that been kind of going in my head. Maybe you put them in a better perspective than I could. But yeah, I might have to do that one, man. I might have to do that one because when you say moon god and you talk then you say Blackbeard, I like, man, stop talking because you already in my head. You already in my head right now. And, One Life Man said, I feel you 3. Let's continue.
Of the pain that Odin had to endure for 5 years while making a fool out of himself, dancing in the streets, and just how important his family's support was for him during that time. And again, I think it's important to remember that Odin essentially died believing in the return of Joy Boy. And so did Toki, right? And so everything kind of comes full circle there with Hiyori's speech about, like, the dawn will come. So it's kind of cool how she's echoing the word.
Evil says, stop talking. You already... It's like you just reading me, man. Like it's like it's probably something I'm just I just thought of yesterday after reading the chapter, but it's probably something you already was thinking about. You know what I'm saying? So if you already done the research by now and already put out a video, yeah, this must have something that already been on your mind, man. But yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, yo, now that we got a moon or a sun god devil fruit pretty much confirmed, I feel as though there has to be a moon god devil fruit. It's just a matter of if it's like a devil fruit in a devil fruit kind of that's in hiding, kind of like the Gummo no Mi was, where they just had to rename it, or is it like, what was I gonna say? Or is it just its own separate devil fruit? You know? Cause I'm curious. Did Blackbeard know about the Gummo no Mi being the Nika devil fruit? Cause he had that book, right? He had the book with all the devil fruits. Or is that information y'all think that he wouldn't be in that book about the Gummo? Like maybe in that book it's just the Gummo no Mi and. Because, I mean, we know that the world government pretty much tried to hide the existence of it, you know. Mostly because they wanted the devil fruit. So, I guess they didn't want the public knowing about it. So, you know. But my question is, would it be in those devil fruit books? You know. What is the origin of those devil fruit books? Like, did Vegapunk create them? You know. Did Vegapunk create the devil, like write them? You know, because we know that Sanji had one and Blackbeard had one. So it would make sense for Sanji to have one because his dad is Judge. Blackbeard, on the other hand, how he got a devil fruit book, I don't know. Are they like sold at bookstores? Or is it like one of those things where it's like not a lot of copies? Like it's not meant for public consumption. Angel Room said, didn't they say its true nature was forgotten? They said something about it hasn't awakened in a couple hundred years, and then they pretty much changed the name of it. I don't remember them saying that. You know, at least not in the official version. I don't remember. But I have to go back and look. Maybe they did say that. Three will said, yeah, I think it's just Gummo Gummo no Mi in the encyclopedia. They wouldn't want the public knowing about its true name. For Moon Devil Fruit, probably not in it either. Yeah, and I could agree with that, but that's kind of why I asked, are those Devil Fruit encyclopedias, are they like available in like public stores? Are they available for the public? Because Sanji had one, but Sanji's dad is also Judge. So somebody like Judge, I could see getting his hands on on like any type of book, right? Any science book. Blackbeard, Blackbeard is pretty like thrifty, right? Like, it's a lot of mystery to Blackbeard. So how he got it, we don't know, So, but yeah, DCLX or DCXL Gaming said, do you guys think that Blackbeard wanted the Gummo Gummo, but instead got the other one? Maybe I'm tripping because he did look pretty happy with the one he ate. Did he want the Gummo Gummo? That's a good question. Cause we know that he chased after Luffy, right? When the Straw Hats went to Skypiea. But I always looked at it as Blackbeard chasing Luffy so he can capture Luffy and then turn him into the world government, so he can pretty much become a Shichibukai and go into Impel Down, take all those strong criminals, right? So I don't know if he knew. I'm gonna just have to rock with him not knowing, because he would have had to kill Luffy instead of turn him in. But I think he was more concerned with turning him in order to follow a plan. But I think he's happy with the ones he ate, though. Honestly, I'm not too sure if he knows the secret behind the Gummo Gummo no Mi. Cube said had a talk with Best G about how much the world government from the get-go have hid the truth about the Gummo. My mind was blown. Yeah, man, they definitely did a great job hiding the truth, right? Shanks but like, how did Shanks, my thing was, how did Shanks know that devil fruit was special? Now, my theory on that is it has something more to do with the will of the Hito no Mi Nika model, right? Or the Gummo Gummo no Mi. I think it has something to do with the will. Maybe it called out the Shanks or something, Angel's Room said DCXL, no, I think Blackbeard would have said something or done something to Luffy. Yeah, I think I don't think he knew what Luffy's devil fruit was, because he only knew about Luffy's importance when he read the 1-it page, But I think Burgess, he was going to take Luffy's devil fruit, but even though I don't think he knew about it either. He just wanted their devil fruit, right? DCXL Game said true, but maybe some things there with how similar they look. You talking about the Gummo Gummo no Mi and the Yami Yami? Three will say one thing to consider is the East Blue isn't savvy when it comes to devil fruits. Maybe these books float around the New World commonly, but not in the other side of the world. Yeah, that definitely could be the possibility. I don't know. I don't think we really got any explanation to the Devil Fruit books. You know, I just feel as though, you know, we don't really see many people pull out the Devil Fruit book and be like, hold on, let me research your Devil Fruit. Like, we never see nobody with a Devil Fruit book other than Blackbeard and Sanji. And I find it weird that the only people that we know that had them were two people with unique situations, right? Cube said, like at Alabasta, they forced Smoker to accept the promotion, or while Fujitaro was in Dressrosa in all places before the Straw Hats, or even Kuma going after the Straw Hats in Thriller. Oh, you talking about that conversation with you and Best G? It does seem to be excessive if you think about it. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying, like how they try to cover up. I mean, I kind of looked at those, and at the time I looked at them as them just trying not to make pirates look like heroes, right? But I mean, it definitely could be a little more to it. And they said, nah, Blackbeard did say he was going to bring Luffy in dead when he was talking to Ace. Yeah, but I'm talking about his intentions. I don't think his intentions were for the Devil Fruit. Because I don't think he even knew what Devil Fruit Luffy had. Like Blackbeard. He didn't know what Devil Fruit Luffy had. He was more so about the promotion. He was about getting in with the world government. You know, I mean, maybe he didn't care if he died. Or maybe he was just talking reckless to Ace, to piss Ace off. Cube said, I think it's the scene where Roger said something to Shanks when they returned from Laugh Tale. The scene where Shanks cried, he must told him everything. Oh, about the Gummo Gummo no Mi? I mean, maybe. That could definitely be the case. You know, maybe Roger did tell him about it. Threevil said, imagine a dude being in a fight and stopping like, hold on, bro, I gotta read what your fruit does. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I get it. You're right. Good point. Touche. Hey, hold on, bro. Just don't try to punch me. Don't try to sling that lava this way. Let me read about the magma fruit. Q says, question, does Garp know about the Gummo Gummo no Mi? Or are you talking about the secrets of it? I don't know. Andrew said, yeah, he only wanted the warlord position, and Blackbeard didn't know Ace was Luffy's brother at that point. Yeah, man, he didn't. So I don't think the Devil Fruit was even a concern for him. Now, if he knew about it, like knew the secrets of it, you know, maybe things would have been way different. One Life Man said the 5 elders got the gum fruit before, but the fruit just vanished like the fruit got his own mind. I mean, they had it, but Shanks took it. I mean, the one confirmed time that they did have it. And Threevil laughing. You got me on that, Threevil. You got me on that.
Words and the beliefs of her parents in this chapter with Luffy's awakening. And again, just like I said in the beginning about the definition of joy, Hiyori mentions that no matter how hard the situation was for Odin, he still kept smiling. And so I think it's important to remember that at that point in the story, Odin already knew what the One Piece was because he had already gone to Laugh Tale by then. And so I think it's interesting that he tells Hiyori that no matter how hard things are, at the end of the day, he's okay because he has people to love who love him. And so it kind of reminded me again of the Romance Dawn story that Oda wrote before he started writing One Piece. Because in the story, the character of Luffy's grandfather tells him that real treasure has nothing to do with material things. It's not gold or...
My dog, Monkey D. Garp, like if you read Romance Dawn, Garp was a pirate. And he gave Luffy the straw hat. That's wild. Man, I miss Garp, man. Anytime Garp's in the story, man, to me it's always better. It's always better. It's like you got this old Monkey D. Luffy that's way more fleshed out.
Diamonds or anything like that, and that he'll figure it out once he sets out to sea. Regardless, Kanjuro's Kazembo shows up and actually ends up burning Orochi, and that's pretty poetic for several reasons. Number one, because in Japan in the past, a Kazembo was essentially a monk that would set himself on fire to be able to reach enlightenment. But then also in chapter 1030, Orochi pretty much commands Kanjiro to use one last attack to end the Kurozumi clan. I mean, he tells him to end everything, but he also says, only you can lay our souls to rest, Kanjiro. And so from the start, the whole purpose of Kanjiro's Kazembo was to send off the Kurozumi clan in a blaze of glory. Hence why we see it attack Orochi in this chapter.
It's also pretty hypocritical of Orochi to tell Hiyori that taking revenge is old news. That it's a thing of the past, when in fact, the only reason why he wanted to become shogun in the first place, the reason why he sought power, was because
revenge.
Wanted to get revenge.
Yeah, he wanted to get revenge.
Persecuting him for being a Kurozumi. Anyway, we cut right out of there and we get the revelation that this new form is Luffy's peak. It's the pinnacle of what he can do, and we get
the God form,
the
God mode. That's what
giant rush of Conqueror's Haki hitting the people.
I think I'm gonna call it the Gumu Gumu God mode. I think that's what I'm gonna call it. The Gumu Gumu no God mode. Q said, because if you think about it, Garp came at Enies Lobby. He said he hated Shanks for changing Luffy's path, then dropped the truth about Dragon and the Revolutionary Army. It seemed intriguing. Yeah, Garp knows a lot, man. Like, Garp is definitely one of those guys who know a lot. You know, he's been through a lot, right? Like, he's fought Rox D. Zebek. You know, he's fought Roger. He's fought Shiki. You know, he's fought Whitebeard. You know, when you talk about all the old guard, that's Garp, man. That's Garp. We got Kel Fowler. Shout out to Kel Fowler with the Wallump God. Man's a walking W. Hey, shout out to Kel. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying that right. Shout out to Kel. Welcome to the stream. And then we got three we're talking about Joy Boy mode. Bruh, man. Joy Boy out here, man. Joy Boy out here. Man, I don't know. I was thinking of something, but and then it just vanished. Let's continue.
On the performance floor. People are foaming at the mouth. People are fainting. So that takes care of some of the fodder. And in the panel where Luffy stretches out his arm to grab Kaido like a snake, in that panel, there's actually a guy wearing a jacket or a shirt that says Tita. And so I found that word can actually mean sun in Japanese.
Another post that I
Tita
saw mentioned how the way that Luffy grabs Kaido and spins him around and slams him into the ground could be a reference to what Luffy does against Oars in Thriller Bark. And then Kaido's really glad that Luffy is back because he didn't want to win that way. So he shoots a Boro Breath at him, and Luffy actually bounces it back by turning the ground into rubber and shooting it back at him. So he's giving the ground the properties of his own body, right? Because that...
Bruh, you know why that's funny? Because I remember, like, people ain't like the idea. Because I remember, like, a long time ago, right? Not a long time ago, but I'll say maybe around the Dressrosa arc and the whole Cake Island arc, when we pretty much get the awakenings of both Doflamingo and Katakuri, and we see how Katakuri could turn the environment around him into mochi, and we see how Doflamingo could turn the environment around him into strings. And then a lot of people were speculating that like Luffy, when he awakens his devil fruit, he'll be able to turn like the environment around him into rubber, and there'll be like a bouncy house, like a bouncy fun house or something. And it's kind of what we getting though, man. Like he's not bouncing around or anything just yet. At least he's not, but he is turning the ground into rubber and bouncing people's attacks back at him. It makes sense in the aspect of a rubber devil fruit, like an awakening, right? At least as far as what we've seen of awakening. Now, Luffy's devil fruit, you know, the Gumu Gumu no Mi, aka the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, it's not like any other devil fruit, right? It's a mythical zone, you know, kind of like Sengoku's, right? Like it's like awakening zones, because when we look at all the zones, it's usually like you got the ancient type that, you know, you got like the normal animals, you know, you also got like either the carnivores or the herbivores or the omnivores. And then you got like the deity type. You got like the more awakening forms, kind of like Sengoku and now Luffy's. I think you would probably add maybe Yamato and what's his name, Genkimaru, the fox. Like theirs might be kind of like deities. I would think. I don't know. Y'all let me know. All right, is that little fox? The little fox. Is that a deity? I feel as though he might be like a deity. And Yamato's devil fruit is a protector, right? So I think that would be classified as a deity. Like a. Anyway, let's continue. You know, I'll let you guys let me know.
That's how Luffy sort of bounces back bullets and stuff. So what I think is interesting is that Luffy now has like two types of awakening, right? He has the Zoan awakening, which allowed him to get back up. That's the Zoan awakening. It's like the durability. And then he also has the Paramecia awakening that starts affecting things outside of his body. So it's like he has 2 in 1. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if later down the line, when we find out what Logia awakenings do, like I'm pretty sure that Luffy's devil fruit is also going to have like a way of showcasing like a Logia awakening because of the fire. It really does remind me of King and how King...
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, other than him manifesting fire, that's as much Logia as we should get. Because if Luffy start phasing through stuff, bro, that'd be ridiculous. I think just imagine Luffy turning intangible. That like now he got like he has like this Toon Force type ability, right? You know, I know a lot of people might not like that idea, but you know, just based off of the recent chapter, it's like some Toon Force ability. Now you making him intangible. Come on now, who's beating this man? Who's beating this man?
Essentially had like 3 devil fruits in one, because King was a Zoan first and foremost, but his body could stretch like rubber, which is the power of a Paramecia, and then he could also wield fire and lava. So that's kind of like a Logia. So it's 3 in 1, and I feel like Luffy's going to be the same thing. And speaking of 3 in 1, we know that Blackbeard already has a Logia and a Paramecia, right? So in order for him to be a threat, in order for him to actually be a challenge for Luffy after this chapter pretty much guarantees that the third devil fruit that Blackbeard is going to get has to be a mythical type Zoan as well. And it actually got me thinking, like, you know how Momonosuke ate like the artificial version of Kaido's mythical type Zoan devil fruit? So what if Vegapunk is actually able to create an artificial version of the Nika devil fruit? And what if Blackbeard eats that one? And that's what the final fight looks like. Blackbeard Nika versus Luffy Nika. And people are already saying that this was...
It should be Moon God, not Nika. No Sun God. Make him the Moon God. We need to have a separate devil fruit.
Foreshadowed back during the Ace fight, because like before the final clash, Blackbeard says, okay, let's see who wins, the darkness or the sun. And so of course darkness wins in this case, Blackbeard wins, but there's obviously going to be a rematch because he's going to end up fighting the sun again, only this time it's going to be Luffy. So we finally get to see the design of Gear 5th in all its glory. It obviously has like that steam cloak or that steam cloud that goes around Luffy's shoulders, which we've seen in all of Luffy's Gear 4th forms. So it's no wonder why Hyogoro said that he looked like the fire god in Gear 4th. And then we actually get to see his full face by the end of the chapter, and I just thought to myself, man, this kid looks identical to Iñaki Godoy. So of course Iñaki is the actor that Oda picked specifically to play Luffy in the live-action Netflix series.
We also get a shot of Luffy's eyebrows in this, and the direction of his eyebrows reminded me of Sanji's post-time skip eyebrow, because they spin in the same direction. Well, and then also Nika's eyebrows reminded me of the spirals and devil fruits. Gets me to think that maybe Nika was the one who created them, because he was having so much fun in the past. And then actually,
Yeah, bam. Somebody was talking about the Sanji's eyebrows and Luffy's eyebrows. There you go. Angel Room said, what the hell? I don't know about this one, man. Be specific. What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
Dragon form Momonosuke's eyebrows also spin in the same direction as Nika's. Now, obviously, this Nika Gear 5th / Awakening is very cartoony, right? It just seems like it's like Toon World from Yu-Gi-Oh! But again, because part of the awakening, at least when it comes to Paramecia's, is that you begin to affect things outside of your own body, I find it interesting that when Luffy grabs Kaido, Kaido's eyes bug out as well, as if he were a cartoon. So again, it's almost as if he's transferring that effect onto Kaido. He's having an effect on somebody else, on another animal, on another mythical type Zoan. So it goes along with what I said about Long Ring Longland and how I'm pretty sure that, like, you know, the previous user did stuff to the animals, to the plants, and that's why everything looks so silly over there. Now, what's also important to note is that this is just technically like the beginning of Gear 5, right? Or Gear 5th. This is just base Gear 5th. With Gear 4, we had Bound Man,
Angel's Room said the Luffy having a Promethea. What about him having a Promethea? I'm still a little confused, brother. You gotta be. You said you don't know about him having a Promethea? Not too sure.
we had Tank Man, and we have Snake Man. So that's like 3 forms for Gear 4th. I think there's still going to be more forms of this Gear 5th. We're going to see more. And I'm actually thinking about, since Nika, or this double fruit power, is a human fruit, or, you know, it's the Hito model, at least that's the root of it. That's basically what Chopper has. Well, Chopper isn't a mythical type Zoan, but he does have a human fruit, right? The Hito. And even though Chopper has like a standard Zoan, look at all the forms that he was able to create for himself with his pills. So if that's what Chopper can do, and he doesn't have a mythical type Zoan that belongs to a god, I can only imagine how many forms Luffy is going to have after this, right? And then maybe even Chopper comes up with a special.
But does Luffy even need more forms? If you just like manipulating the environment on a whim, do you even need other forms? I mean, he already kind of OP right now. I don't know if he needs. If I agree with him needing like other forms, you know, especially if we sit here talking about giving Blackbeard a power up just to compete with Luffy. I'm like, dude, Luffy even really need another form for like another transformation for Gear 5th. I don't think so. Angel's Room says, sorry, I was thinking about the Promethea. I didn't mean to say that. Oh. Yeah, he said, what I meant to say is him saying Blackbeard having an artificial Nika fruit. Yeah, I disagree with that. Like, maybe if he gets like the moon god fruit, okay, and it doesn't have to be artificial. Just give him the moon god fruit. But then that will kind of make Blackbeard a little too overpowered, because now he has the devil fruit that pretty much matches Luffy's devil fruit, and then he also has the Goro no Mi and the Yami no Mi. That's a little too much. Evil 3 will say something that just happened in my head is, what if all those Gear 4 forms can be used in Gear 5? But yeah, there has to be a drawback from using Gear 5. I definitely agree with that. Like, and that could be the case. You know, like maybe he uses Snake Man, like like Gear 5th Snake Man and Tank Man. Even though Tank Man is more of a situational devil fruit, right? Like, he only was able to go to Tank Man because he was eating all the crackers, biscuits. But I could see that happening, but it's like, man, Gear 5th on its own is like, bro, he just palmed Kaido, bro. he just palmed Kaido and like swung him around, like. Does he need other like other versions? I'm just saying, he already like. But I guess if Blackbeard does, you know, maybe depending on how much of a power up Blackbeard gets, he might end up needing some other forms to have to deal with Blackbeard. Angel's Room said, I think people are ignoring the fact that Kaido didn't get hurt from any of the attacks Luffy did last chapter. Yeah, no, I seen it, and that's why I said, cause people was worrying about like Luffy being too powerful, and I'm just going off of, it depends on if let's say if he dish rags Kaido after this power up, if he dish rags Kaido, then Oda's going to write himself into a corner. It's going to be hard to top like, it's going to be hard for any villain to beat somebody who pretty much dish rag Kaido. You know, like, so, but Kaido didn't look like he was like he was about to be defeated or anything. Like, Kaido still looked like he's still ready to fight. So I think Kaido good. One Life Man say any or agreed 3. Angel's Room said it basically was the same thing as Luffy versus Kaido the first time. Luffy just didn't get knocked out. Yeah. You talking about last chapter when they fought? Let's continue.
Special medicine, a special pill for Luffy that gives him another form or something. Now, I also think this is a pretty good moment to remind everybody that every time Luffy uses a new gear, there's always a drawback. There's always a drawback.
Drawbacks, baby.
Kind of a price to pay for a new gear. So, for example, gear second, it's like, you know, the lifespan kind of depletes the lifespan. It kind of uses up a lot of energy, so Luffy has to eat. Gear third, it turns him into like mini Luffy. Gear fourth, he runs out of hockey. He can't fight for a while. And so now I'm thinking, okay, what's going to be the drawback for this one, for Gear 5th Awakening? Because he does say, like, when he wakes up, like, he says his heartbeat feels different, like, it feels kind of funny. He says, I can do everything I wanted to do. I think I can fight for a bit longer. So it's not like this is going to last forever. So I'm guessing that he's probably going to be half dead after this. I want to show you guys something real quick, because I briefly mentioned Blackbeard and how I thought that this chapter pretty much confirms that he's going to eventually get a mythical type Zoan Devil Fruit, unless he already has one. But so this chapter came to mind. It's chapter 19. The title of the chapter is called Devil Fruit. And so during an SBS, Oda said that if Luffy were an animal, he would be a monkey, and if Blackbeard were an animal, he would be a hippopotamus. So I want to show you this cover here. It's
I told y'all.
A hippopotamus that has a swirl, that has a spiral on its face. And Luffy is sitting in a box that says danger. So I think if Teach ever gets a mythical type Zoan, it'll probably be like a legendary hippopotamus god. I really like enthusiasm.
I disagree with that. Cause, and it's not that I disagree with like Teach having a hippopotamus god, because I theorize that. But if he has a hippo devil fruit, if he was to have one, right? If he was, and I know 3 were going to be like, nah, bro, cracking, bro. I'm just speaking specifically, responding to what he said. If he was to have a hippo god devil fruit, he should already have it, because the hippo devil fruit should be what gives him the ability to consume 2 other devil fruits. You know. It wouldn't make sense for him to get it like now or after the fact. But, you know, that's just my opinion.
By the end of the chapter, specifically when Kaido apologizes for the way that he won, and Luffy's like, nah, man, don't sweat it. Because it reminded me of the Katakuri fight and how he tells Katakuri there's no such thing as fairness in a pirate's fight. That really hit home for me on a personal level, because one of the things that I've always struggled with is that I want things to be fair. Like, I want good things to happen to good people and bad things to happen to bad people. But then again, you know, who am I to decide who's good and who's bad? But it's something that I've always struggled with, and I've had a really difficult time letting go of or accepting that life isn't fair. So just to have this story tell you, like, yeah, it's not fair. You know, life isn't fair. But you get to decide, are you going to get back up, or are you going to be discouraged and defeated? I feel like that's ultimately the choice that we're all faced with at some point. Knowing that the world isn't fair, what are we going to do about that? Because I think I've decided that even though I know things aren't fair,
My hope is that if I continue to walk long enough, maybe one day I can look back and say, okay, yeah, that made sense. According to the official One Piece staff.
Hey man, y'all just got a life lesson, man. Life ain't fair. It ain't fair, y'all. It ain't fair. So y'all just, it's just how you respond to things. You gotta be like Luffy, you know. One life man said, "Wow." 3 would say, "LOL," and I agree. That's the whole point of people theorizing Hippo. Same with Kraken. Some people will say he gets it later on, but to me, that defeats the whole purpose. Yeah, like it's like, you beat the opportunity to sit here and say, the reason why Blackbeard can have 3 devil fruits is because he ate this hippo devil fruit that gave him 3 stomachs, or this Kraken devil fruit that gave him 3 hearts, and those 3 hearts or 3 stomachs allowed him to consume 2 more devil fruits. It makes sense. It writes itself, right? It writes itself. But if he gets it after the fact, it's like, well, you didn't really explain how, or you didn't use it as an opportunity to explain why he can eat multiple devil fruits when it was pretty much served up on a platter. So, and that's why I kind of like the idea that Blackbeard could actually have always had another devil fruit, right? That maybe he didn't explain to people because its only purpose was to give him access to more devil fruits to consume, and maybe he don't like looking like a hippo. I don't know. But I do kind of like the Kraken devil fruit because if let's say when he gets into a fight, he pulls out his guns, and then he could use one of his tentacles to pull out the other gun, because he always has 3 guns on him, right? And it's like, why does Blackbeard have 3 guns? It's not like he's using all 3 of his guns like Zoro, where he got one in his mouth, he pulling the trigger with his tongue, and then he's doing that. But now if he has a tentacle though, he could use 2 guns with both his arms, and then use one of his tentacles to shoot the other one. I also had like the dirty version of it, but I'm not going to talk about it here. I'm trying to get monetized, y'all. I'm sorry. No, I'm joking with y'all. Angel's Room said, "Yeah, I agree with with your guys' idea on Blackbeard already have his own. I think he's only collecting devil fruits for his crew now." Yeah, because he wants a strong crew, right? That's Blackbeard's goal. In order to accomplish his goals, he need a strong crew. A crew full of devil fruit users. But the only downside to that is if your whole crew has devil fruits and one of y'all fall into the ocean, there's going to be nobody there to save you. It's going to be so many people there and nobody could save you. Unless somebody has a Kraken devil fruit. It could actually go into the water. Then maybe there is somebody who could save you.
Account. There's supposed to be some news dropping later today, but because of the timing, I won't be able to cover that until next week's video. That's gonna do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your support.
Hold on, I want to check that out real quick.
Not just for the channel. Yeah, that made sense. According to the official One Piece staff account, there's supposed to be some news dropping later today, but because of the timing, I won't be able to cover that until next week's video. That's gonna do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much.
I might have to see what that news is, y'all.
For the channel, not just for the channel, but for me, via the channel. Take care of yourselves. All
right. I'm gonna like the video. You gotta make sure y'all like the video. The video will be in the description box, so y'all go there and go give him a like, as well as like the stream if you haven't already, y'all. Like the stream. That helps the channel. Angel's Room said that's where 3 Vu's octopus theory come in, right? So when he could save his crew. you need somebody to be there to save your crew, right? Like, who is that? Like, maybe Burgess. Maybe that's Burgess's job. Kind of talking about Burgess. Y'all think Burgess is still the right hand man to Blackbeard? You know, is that the general consensus that Burgess is the first mate? Because I think it's obvious that it's obvious that Shilu, right? I think Oda confirmed it in that cover spread with all the right hand men. You know, but a lot of people don't agree with that. You know, they still say it's Burgess, that he's the right hand man to the crew. I like my theory on it, or my speculation on the situation is Burgess was the right hand man, but I think when he failed to capture the Meta no Mi, he went to Dressrosa and he failed to retrieve any devil fruit, because there was one time where he was going to try to steal Luffy's and he failed because Sabo saved him. But I think that failure made it to where, like, the fact that he failed and the fact that, let's say, somebody like Shilu actually succeeded in getting his devil fruit, it was to the point where it was like, well, this guy right here is as strong, perhaps even stronger than you, and he succeeded where you failed. So your failure, you're no longer my right hand man. I'm taking him as my right hand man from now on, right? It would make sense because we have, because Oda loves having Zoro fight swordsmen, right? Or anybody who really has a sword, you know, even if they're not exclusively swordsmen. If they're like the only person with a sword on a crew, Zoro probably gonna fight him, right? So I think Shilu's gonna be Zoro's matchup, you know, and then Burgess might be Sanji's matchup, you know. Angel's Room said, I don't even know why people think Burgess is the right hand man. I think they believe that before Blackbeard went to Impel Down, that Burgess was kind of like, I guess they believe Burgess was the right hand man at that point, right? And I don't know, man. I don't know. I think there's stuff in the I think there are things in the chapters that kind of indicate Burgess being like the right hand man. And the fact that he's the commander of the first ship, you know. I guess since they think that since he's the commander of the first ship, that means the right hand man is the commander to the first ship. And kind of like, I think Marco, like I think Marco was like first division commander. So taking that logic, you know, him being Whitebeard's man, him being Whitebeard's right hand, you take the guy who's the captain of the first ship and him be the right hand. I guess that's the logic, which, you know, again, I do kind of believe that Burgess was the right hand man at one point, but I think Shilu is currently the right hand man. And I think a lot of that might be because Blackbeard demoted Burgess for his failure. Angel's Room said Burgess is weak. He'll probably fight Frankie in the Blackbeard Pirate. I don't agree with that. I don't think Burgess is weak. I think Sabo is just better than him. I think that's all that was. Like, I think Burgess just, you know, he didn't fight anybody he could actually beat, you know. And that's not really a knock against him, you know, because Sanji, like I say, Sanji has fought people who, you know, he fought Doflamingo, right? And we see how much, well, it wasn't a fight, it was more of a clash. But he clashed with Doflamingo, and we seen how that turned out, right? You know, like Sanji took he kind of took the bad end of that aspect. He also clashed with Virgo. Virgo was giving Law a tough time. You know what I'm saying? Like, Law was, like, Sanji clashed with a lot of people out of his league. And he usually comes out on the tail end of those clashes. But and not like super bad where he looks super bad. He's just outmatched, right? And and that's part of why I always say, like, before Wano, if you want to go by every arc before Wano, I think Sanji's clash. Sanji has had encounter with stronger people than Zoro had. Like, I think the strongest person Zoro encountered before Wano, the strongest person he fought was Pika. You know, the strongest person Sanji fought, if we want to include clashes in there, right? We could just say encounter. The strongest person Zoro encountered was Pika. The strongest person Sanji encountered was like Doflamingo. So, but Burgess, I would say the same thing. He probably just was outclassed by the specific people he battled. You know, Sabo being one of them. You know. Cube said because he was introduced as Burgess the champion, people assumed he was Blackbeard Zoro. People got confused with the nickname at the time. Man, I was arguing with somebody like on Facebook. I'm like, you know, they was like, I said something about Shilu being I posted the thing and I said all the right hand men, right? And this was like on Facebook and they were like, oh, you're stupid. Burgess isn't. I'm like, bro, I didn't make this. Oda put this into a chapter. And he was like, well, that don't mean Burgess is the right hand man. I'm like, bro, like, if this isn't obvious to you, the fact that everybody on here are like first are like the second in charge of their crew, but Burgess is just the only person, or I mean Shilu's the only person on here that's on here but not the right hand man to his captain. It don't even make sense. You know, but he was arguing with me and he really believed it. And I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Angel's Room said, and Katakuri is a perfect example of a captain not picking a first mate until later on in their journey. You talking about Big Mom picking Katakuri? I kind of think, like, here's my thing. Here's how I kind of look at the Yonko in general. Maybe with the exception of like Shanks, right? I look at the Yonko as being they have metocracies, right? Like it's all about like the stronger have the strongest crew members are usually like they have the highest position, right? The stronger you are, the higher your position is. You know, Shanks, I think, like Ben Backman, I do believe is probably the strongest in Shank in the red hair crew. So, you know, he probably don't have to always prove that. You know, I don't think Shank's crew is fighting to be the top dog, right? And Shanks probably also keeps Ben Backman around because he's a worthy commander, because he's always said to be the smartest person in the series or one of the smartest people, right? So it would make sense that yes, I keep like there's probably no infighting among like Shank's crew. Now, as far as like Blackbeard, Kaido, and Big Mom, it's probably more of a measure of who's the strongest, right? There might be some other factors as well, you know, like who's also competent, you know, so competency, strength, all these things. And Katakuri is, you know, competent, you know, he's pretty competent and he's strongest in the crew besides Big Mom. So I don't think even though Katakuri lost, I don't know if he's going to lose his position, because it's like he's still stronger than all the other brothers, right? So I don't know, you know. Kaido, you know, I was already told that's how his crew works, so I don't really have to go much into that. Blackbeard, I could see being more like Kaido, where it's like people could fight. Like your position could change in an instant. Like if you fell, somebody could take your spot. Angel's Room said Burgess versus Queen. Who you got? In my opinion, Burgess is probably the second weakest commander. Who would be the first weakest commander, you think? Jack? So Burgess versus Queen. Who do I think? I feel as though I need more from Burgess to say. I don't know if I say he's the second weakest, but I think by the time he gets a final fight, he might be one of the top 5 strongest commanders. And that's probably behind like Ben Beckman, Shilu, Katakuri maybe, and possibly King. So and I'm not including Straw Hats. I'm talking just specifically Yonko. I don't know. I need more from Burgess. I need more from Burgess. I'm gonna go with Queen for now. I'm gonna go with Queen. If we just talking about what we've seen from both of them, I'm gonna have to go with Queen. He also said, or it probably like Whitebeard crew where only 3 commanders are noticeably stronger. You talking about Blackbeard's crew? I don't know. How I see it, Whitebeard has a huge crew, right? He has a big crew, so a lot of his crew members ain't gonna be as strong. Somebody like Shanks though, Shanks got a very small crew, from what we've seen. He has a very small, tight knit crew, and if he's been able to maintain his control as Yonko with a small crew, I'm assuming they're like the Straw Hats, where they're all pretty strong, and they're all like Warlord level, possibly. Like, well, I mean, Warlord, there's no real level to Warlord, but they're like high Warlord level, maybe. Like they're like at the very least like Boa Hancock, as strong as Boa Hancock. Maybe not like Mihawk, but like, it's like Mihawk being a leader with a crew of Boa Hancocks, if that makes sense. That's kind of how I look at Shanks. It's like Shanks is like, I would look like I think Mihawk and Shanks are pretty much damn near on the same level. Shanks might edge Mihawk out by a little bit, but if they were to fight now, I think it would be a high diff fight. And then I would say the rest of his crew are probably around Boa. Some might be a little weaker, some might be a little stronger. Like some might like Ben Beckman might be like Doflamingo, or maybe they're all like Doflamingo. Maybe, with the weakest being around Boa. So I think Shanks probably has one of the best, most balanced crews. I think Blackbeard's crew might be up there as well, because if you look at Blackbeard's main force, is the 10 type, the ones who you see him with mostly, they're the ones I'm looking at as going to be the ones who match up with the Straw Hats, and I'm pretty sure they can match up with Shanks as well. Kaido, on the other hand, he has like 3 top dogs, and then everybody else is like, the Toby Ropo ain't bad either. Like, the Toby Ropo ain't bad. They're pretty tough as well. But anything under the Toby Ropo is pretty weak, right? Big Mom, you got the Sweet Commanders. You got the 3 of them. You got Katakuri, Smoothie, and Cracker. And then you had Snack. Snack is probably going to be the weakest commander of any Yonko group, I think. And I don't think Burgess is like right behind him. But what was I saying? Yeah, Big Mom has her Sweet Commanders, but then she also has like Daifugu and Oven. They're pretty competent. Right? Like, they were pretty tough. They were always around causing some type of problems for whoever's around. So they're kind of like the Toby Ropo, you know. And then yeah. So then you got, I already talked about Kaido, Big Mom. Whitebeard has his commanders, but you know that's all here nor there though. You know, let me read these chats and then I'm gonna wrap this stream up. Angel Room said the pill guy in Blackbeard crew. The 4 characters I feel will be strong in the Blackbeard crew are Lafatit, San Juan Wolf, Katarina Devine, and Shiro. Well, I think you're lowballing Burgess. I think you're really lowballing. I think he's gonna be the one to fight Sanji, so he has to be or at the very least Jinbei. You know, Jinbei or Sanji. I don't see him fighting Frankie, because I don't know who else would be fighting Sanji other than maybe Burgess. I could see Sanjuan Wolf being maybe like Jinbei, because I think Sanjuan Wolf might be a fishman. You got Vasco. Vasco shot's pretty. I think he could be a threat. Vasco shot might be like Jinbei. I could see Vasco shot being Jinbei. San Juan Wolf being like maybe Frankie. Katarina Devine maybe like Yamato. If Yamato's part of the crew, I could see Yamato being Katarina Devine. Either Yamato or maybe Robin or Nami. And then Yamato might fight somebody like I don't know, you know, one of the other guys on the crew, because Blackbeard don't have a lot of women, so some of the women are gonna have to fight guys. Van Auger, that's gonna be Usopp's fight. Lafatit or not Lafatit, but the Doc Q's gonna be Choppers. Lafatit, I don't know. Maybe Brooke. I could see Lafatit fighting Brooke. Yeah, that's who I see, because they both kind of got similar themes, right? Cube said going to bed, great stream. Shout out to Cube. Hey man, thanks for sliding through, Cube. It's always good to have you, man. I appreciate you being here. Angel Room said, okay, I'll give you Burgess versus Jinbei. I think Jinbei might fight Vasco shot. I think that might be Jinbei's. You know, I don't know. And they said that'll be his final fight. Burgess versus Jinbei. One Life Man said, "Do you think Shanks will die and that's when Luffy give back the hat?" Yeah, I've always been on. I haven't really talked about it a lot. Maybe not recently. I think I have talked about it. I think Shanks will die. I don't think Luffy will ever get a chance to give his hat back to Shanks. I think that's going to be Luffy's hat for here on out. I don't think Luffy's ever given Shanks back that hat. And I think Shanks might die before Luffy could, I could see Shanks dying in Luffy's arms, you know, by Blackbeard. I think Blackbeard might kill him. You know, that's one theory I always kind of been a part of. Like, I always kind of like that aspect. Angel's Room said Avalo Pizarro might be stronger than we think, since he's the who's Vasco shot. I think that's who I was meaning when I was saying Jinbei versus I meant Jinbei versus Avalo, the corrupt king. That's who I meant, Jinbei. Not Vasco shot. The dude with the horns. That's who I was talking about. I know there was some theories talking about he might be related to Kaido somehow. You know, I don't know. But yeah, so I think it could be like Jinbei, Pizarro, and the champion dude, Burgess. But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much the stream, y'all. I don't really have much else to talk about for the stream. You know, I know a little topic about Blackbeard. I just kind of wanted to. Vasco Shot is the guy who drinks a lot. With the one with the elephant nose, yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. Him, I could see somebody like maybe Robin fighting. I don't know. That's kind of, I know that's, or maybe Chopper. I don't know. Like maybe Chopper fights him. You know, it would be wild if Chopper fights Sanjin Wolf or whatever his name is, and he creates like a monster point that's bigger than his normal monster point. Yeah, man, that'd be wild. One Life Man said, you streaming tomorrow? What is tomorrow? Tuesday? Yeah, I'll be streaming tomorrow. Yes, sir. We gonna be streaming tomorrow. Hey, y'all. Y'all can send me videos. If y'all want me to react to something, send me videos, man. Send me. Best place to send them in the Discord. You know, if y'all, because sometimes, you know, it's like, you know, I'm like, man, you know, it's tough finding stuff, man. It's tough finding videos. It's not tough. There's a lot of videos out there, but sometimes I tend to find videos that kind of, they might repeat some, they might be similar to other videos I've already reacted to. And I'm always trying to, you know, give something different, you know, a different theory, a different whatever. But yes, send me them. Angel's Room said, I don't know, man. If Burgess fights Sanji, it's going to be the same way it was with Sabo. I disagree. I think by that time, Burgess will have a devil fruit, and he would probably got a lot stronger than he currently is, or he was when he fought Sabo. So he's going to get stronger like every other character, right? Like he's going to be out there fighting and getting stronger, and then he might find the devil fruit. The devil fruit's going to make him stronger because he's going to have more abilities. So, you know, I don't think so. I think, maybe quicker than that. You said, yeah, I don't think Sanji's dog walking, you know. But great stream. And appreciate it. Anyway, y'all, make sure y'all hit that like button if y'all haven't already. Subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Also, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you're looking for a One Piece community, we have the Facebook group and the Discord. All of these will be linked below, as well as the link to the video we reacted to. So y'all give Sawyer7mage a show him some love, you know. I will be streaming tomorrow. I have no videos planned, but again, like I said earlier, y'all want me to react to something, send me some videos, y'all. Send me some videos. Y'all, best place to send them is through the Discord. You said, do I think Luffy would have lost to Burgess and Dressrosa? No. It would have been a tough fight, though. I don't think it would have been easy. It would have been a fight that he would have had to give his attention to. It would, you know, and it might have been like a mid-diff, you know. But yeah, so One Life Man with the peace. Peace out, man. Peace out. Before I get going, let me do these shout outs. Shout out to Sharp Key. Shout out to Cube. Shout out to Angel's Room. My nose is stuffy, y'all. It's hard to say certain stuff. Shout out to Sakuna Senpai. You know, somebody who I don't think I've noticed before. Shout out to One Man Life. Shout out to DCXL Gaming. Shout out to Threevil. oh yeah, that's what we might do. It might be that Threevil video that he was telling me about with Blackbeard and the Moon God. That's probably what we gonna react to tomorrow. We reacting to that video this week, but that's probably gonna be the one. Hey, and I don't know if Threevil is going to see this, but I don't know. I don't think he's still in the chat. But if he wants to hop on the stream after, he's more than welcome. Like after I react to it, if he wants to talk about it, yes sir. Shout out to DCXL Gaming. I probably already shouted you out, but still. Shout out to Kel Fowler with the Womp Guide. He said a man's a walking W. Hey man, that's love, man. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Yeah, and that's everybody, man. Shout out to all y'all, man. Hey, good stream, great stream. Really appreciate you guys for supporting. Coming on here talking to me. I'm just a man who love One Piece, right? I just love talking about One Piece. That's why I created this channel. It's not, I don't pretend to be no expert. I just love talking about One Piece, and you guys come and talk to me. It makes this channel much better. It makes these videos better, the streams. It's wonderful. I appreciate it. You said, have a good night, my friend. Out chat. Hey man, you have a good night as well, man. I hope to see you tomorrow, or at least sometime this week. I hope you slide through in the upcoming streams. Anyway, it's your boy Sean P, the Bluff Guy, and I'm out of here. Peace.